Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute. I've been off of YouTube for a whole 6 months, and let's just for the next 10 seconds talk about the reason why. And it's because I became a mama. 2.5 months ago, I gave birth to the most precious little baby girl who's sitting right there. You probably aren't really gonna see a whole lot of her on this channel, if anything, because here we talk about handbags. But oh my goodness, I love it so much. It's just been the greatest 2.5 months of my life. Of course, before that, when I was still pregnant with her, you can hear her, how cute is she? Of course, before I was still making some videos, but in the last one that I made with the Kelly, when I was introducing my Kelly bag to all of y'all. It's very much like the whole Grace Kelly situation where I was hiding my bump with it, and I didn't even really put that together until I watched the footage afterwards in my 2-piece linen set. But you can go back and maybe see a difference with my belly in that one. But that's the reason why I've been away. Do you want to talk to? Let's go over Birkin versus Kelly, because ever since I got my Kelly bag, I've been wanting to make a comparison video, and now that it's been a year that I've had Kelly and a 1.5-ish that I've had my Birkin, I feel like I have a really good idea of where I stand on the topic, but I want to go through all the reasons why. So let's start off with the Birkin. This was my very first bag. I got it July, basically a 1.5 years ago, and this has become my work bag. Ever since I got it, I used it every single day. I own a bridal salon in Toronto, Canada, and it's perfect for that because I wear light colors on the daily, despite the burgundy that I'm wearing at the moment. I love this bag. It fits so much, obviously, being the 35 size. First off, this is a Retourne Birkin 35 in Togo Leather in the color Blanc with Palladium Hardware, and I love everything about it. It's amazing. I would give this bag a 9.2 out of 10. The reason why I'm knocking 0.8 off is because the handles, it's very difficult to keep them perfectly clean in the summertime. I'm constantly wiping them, and I kind of feel bad about that because sometimes I'm wondering if I'm going to be taking off some of the coloring of the leather. But so far, so good. It's just that they are a little bit more high maintenance. And the other reason why I'm docking it is because of the fact that it is not Sellier. Sellier is my absolute favorite style. Bless you, my love. Sellier is my absolute favorite style. So just for that reason, I would take off a little bit. And the closure. So compared to the Kelly, which I'll show you in a sec, the Birkin closure, this top flap, I've never worn it like that. It's way too much of a hassle. I prefer the look of the bag like this anyway. Those are my main cons. In terms of pros, like I already mentioned, it fits a ton. That being said, it's definitely in need of an organizer. So because Togo is a little bit softer of a leather, I found that as soon as I put an organizer in this, as soon as I got it, I was just able to maintain the shape so much better. You have this extra room at the sides so that it can expand, which is another huge plus, because especially if you're using this as a work bag like I do, or a daily bag, or even a mom bag now. I've actually seen quite a few people talk about how they wanted a Birkin 35 as a diaper bag, and I'm like, that's brilliant, but also the bougiest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I kind of love it. Palladium Hardware, I love with Blanc more than I expected. However, if it was any other shade of a white, like a Baton or a Cray or Nata, I think I would prefer the gold, but I really love how it sort of keeps the same really clean aesthetic with the Palladium on the Blanc, because it is white. It's as crisp as it gets. It just works for me for a lot of different outfits. In terms of wear and tear, let me talk about that for a second, because my bag specifically, since it is a 35, I heard so often before getting this that it's a difficult bag to use because you'll like knock it on door frames and it's just easy to bump into things because it's so big. I have found that to be the case in the sense that it can be a little bit clunky, but I do think that it's not nearly as bad as people say. And the corner wear, it came with a little bit of corner wear because it was pre-loved, but it's not something that I find to be a detraction from using the bag. This is kind of like a workhorse for me, and I love it for that reason. I always wear this bag with the lock and the clochette. I know Birkinifying your bags is something that's super in at the moment, but a part of me does just love having the Birkin clean and crisp without anything on top. And I think if I was gonna add accessories to anything, it would be the Kelly. Let's get into that one. So this is Hermès bag numero dos, and I love it so much. This one is a Sellier Kelly 32 in black box calf with gold hardware. This is also vintage. It's like seriously vintage. I'll pop the date stamp up here, or at least the year that it was made. This was on the vision board for years before I got it, and originally I got it so that I could wear it so that it would look like this, with the flap tucked into the opening. This is just my favorite way. I feel like it's very trendy, it's very cool. But I will start off with the cons of this bag, and it's the closure. Oh my goodness, trying to get this thing open and closed constantly while you're using it, I find a little bit on the difficult side because of the box calf and its stiffness, especially it being Sellier, that just makes it even more rigid. It is difficult to get in and out of, and especially when it's like this, it doesn't stay. It definitely opens while you're carrying the bag if it's not fully closed, so it'll naturally come out like this. What I do love about this is that when I've been away with this, I did lock it a few times. I like that there's different versatility with the sangles. You can either leave the sangles out or tucked in underneath if you don't want to fully close everything. And I'm just a girl that loves an option. I love the top handle. I think I prefer the single handle to the double of the Birkin. One of the things that I will say that I love most about this bag is the leather. Yes, it's rigid, but it has not scratched nearly as much as I thought it was going to. I have been caught in the rain with this a couple times, and I know it's like the worst thing to be caught in the rain with box. I just wipe off the little raindrops as soon as possible, and very, very quickly, I might add, but nothing has left watermarks, nothing has bubbled, everything has maintained its condition. For that reason, I think it's definitely worth considering if you're going between two leather options, and box is one of them. It's just so classic, and to me, so iconic for the Kelly to do it in box calf. So I would 100% recommend this bag in this leather. In terms of the size, I am a big bag kind of gal. My wish list bag at the moment is a vintage rouge ash box calf with gold hardware. So for that bag, I would love to do it in the size 35. I would even do a 40. I think it's just so statement and so cool. Or I would go the complete opposite and do a 25. However, I feel like the closure would become even more difficult to use just because it's that much like sort of tighter to get into. It does fit quite a significant amount less than the Birkin, and to get an organizer in this one takes up a lot of space too, comparatively. So in terms of space, I would 100% go for my Birkin over this one. All in all, if I had to sort of sum up which one I liked better, just between mine, with the double handle versus single, I would actually go for single. Gold hardware versus palladium, I would 100% go gold. Box calf versus Togo, I would go box. Size 32 versus size 35, I'd say 35. The white versus black, this is a difficult one for me, but I think at the end of the day, I'm actually gonna go white. It just works with my style. The black, sometimes I feel like I have to style. Sellier versus Retourne, it's Sellier every single day of the week. However, overall, after everything is considered, I would say that my favorite between the two of them is the Birkin, and this is simply because when I started getting into handbags, the Birkin was the holy grail bag, and now that I have it, I still have to pinch myself. I can't believe that I own one, to be honest with you, but Birkin would be my number one. Time and time again, if I could only have one style of Hermès bag, it would be a Birkin. So I would love to hear what you think. If you own both, I'd love to know what your pros and cons are, and comparing one to the next, what you would take if you could only have one. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.